Good morning, everybody. How are you? I was just researching this part on Amazon for our washer. Thing's 18 years old, so, you know, Amazon's probably the only place in the world you can buy that part. Because I don't know whether they make it specific. Anyhow, things going on. A reminder was given to the generals yesterday by, I forget where it came from, that, you know, they're being given orders, and that at the Nuremberg trials, which some of you are way too young to remember, is when the soldiers and officers and whatnot were held responsible for their torturing and killing of Jewish people and others. And the defense that the lowest ranks gave was we were just following orders. And Nuremberg said, and the trial came out and said that's not a defense. And that's true now, because you have the American soldier has the right to refuse unlawful orders. So, anyhow, what else is going on? Oh yeah, they've been. One judge made a statement this morning that he felt that the American people were complacent where Trump was concerned, and then they showed polls that went along and said the same thing. Now I got to tell you, I agree with that. You know, I can see that with people and their responses. You know, how many people are attending rallies? People aren't attending rallies anymore because they're afraid. There's a lot of gun violence starting now. Mass shooting seems to be coming up at least once a week right now. Things are getting really, really bad. And Trump's going to declare martial law. I'm convinced that he wants to do that more than anything in the world. And that's going to start the big problems, you know. Because then you can be arrested for spitting on the sidewalk and disappear and never be seen again. Hegseth is a untrained combat leader from the National Guard. Now, National Guard troops, for the most part, are extremely patriotic. They're very loyal. But a lot of them get into it for the extra money, or the, I think in Hegseth's case, the political moves he wanted to make. And he came from Fox News, where he was a commentator. At this stage of his career, I don't think Fox News would take him back. He's proven himself to be untrustworthy. Not so much a liar, because he doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. So it's misrepresentation, but he's not qualified for the position he's in. And now he wants the troops to go around and be in better shape and whatnot. Depends on the branch of the service he's talking about. Are you talking about the Marine Corps? Are you talking about Delta? Or Green Berets? Who the hell are you talking about? You know, the guys that go slug it out in the swamps and stuff like that, you know, or the cities of Fallujah and whatnot in Afghanistan, they're not going to be neat. They're in shape. He's talking about fat officers. That's just, that weight is just age and a reward, you know. Probably health conditions for all the shit they went through. They finally get to relax a little bit. So they put on a few extra pounds. Depends on what they're doing, you know. I don't get upset about that stuff, you know. I watch guys in basic training, and they say you want to be scared of basic training. I wasn't scared of basic training that much. Health-wise, I was scared about it, because you get sick down there. You know, they don't take great care of you, and that can set you back. I like the weapons training. I didn't like the attitude of some of the officers, especially the young ones. It's like we had two of those officers in my company in the National Guard when I got into it, and I got in and was there for a year before I went away for the basic training. I knew hand-to-hand combat and a few other things by the time I got there. But the officers that one of the officers that I was with went overseas and was killed by his own men. Then there was a sergeant that went over, really nice guy, really smart, black guy, been in there a long time, and he re-enlisted when he was supposed to stay as a enlistment officer, but instead he got sent over to Afghanistan. That was Vietnam back then, and he got sent over there and didn't make it home, and we all felt really bad about that. The guys that knew him, we weren't gung ho, but we did what we had to do. There were guys in the unit I was in that paid to get in this unit. I just ended up in this unit very luckily. I don't know. My mother used to hint at the fact that I had some sort of guardian angel over me. I mean, I always thought there was a cop that was looking out for me or something, because I would get stopped and they'd let me go when I should have been arrested, for drunken driving and stuff like that. So I was lucky that way. I thought I was just lucky, but maybe I wasn't. I don't know. Beard's itchy, sorry. But Hegsworth doesn't have any real military experience other than the National Guard. And officers in the National Guard don't do jack shit. They get off. They're a lot of them that I met get off on this. You got to salute me, and they get off on the weekend warrior routine, But it's a different thing when you're getting shot at. All right, I'll tell you, my company commander, my first company commander, we were sitting. He was the company commander. He was the first company commander. The second company commander was a airborne captain that came back from Vietnam that I would have gone to war with in a heartbeat. He was great. I mean, he knew his shit, and he didn't abuse the guys. And the first captain didn't abuse the guys either. There was the 2-second Louis that those were in basic training. That's where I ran into them. I didn't run into them down in the National Guard. Most of the officers in the National Guard wanted to be left alone. But like I said, most of these guys just sit around and try to make money, They're not interested in being combat ready. To that extent, they are. I mean, you have to understand, when I went in, training was horrible for the Guard, and I'm assuming that it got better at some point in time, because we weren't trained properly, at least my unit. Well, we were a maintenance outfit anyhow, but we weren't trained properly in crowd control. And judging by what happened at Kent State, I don't think any of the National Guard troops in the country were trained in crowd control. They were trained in, we weren't trained in anything except fixing the vehicles. Our biggest job was in the summertime when we went up to Camp Trump for two weeks. We were the last unit up there, and it was our job to get everything. We worked very hard. We were under a lot of pressure because we had to get everything ready to come back, to get back to the various units. Anything that was, broke down or something had to be repaired. It couldn't be left up there. We did have several members of our unit that were stationed up there. The 122nd Maintenance Company some were stationed there permanently. But our jobs, I was a mechanic in civilian life at the time, so when I went up there, I was given a lot of work to, I knew a lot of things that the other guys didn't know. So Anyhow, sitting around now talking, that's my thing with the Hegsworth, and the thing about following orders. That's pretty much common sense, I think, that following orders is not an excuse for atrocious behavior. Hegsworth's got no excuses. He's just a moron. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's just not qualified for what he's doing. And he thinks he's smarter than every general in that room, those 800 commanders and whatnot that were sitting in front of him in Virginia yesterday, or Tuesday rather. Yeah, yesterday. He believes that he was smarter than every last one of them, and he's not, especially on a military level. That man has never commanded a unit in battle. Now, commanding a unit in battle doesn't make you a great leader, because some of those guys come back and they need help, but anyhow, what can I tell you? What else is going on? You're starting to see they're printing some reactions to the shit, what's going on here? Okay. He just I don't know. Yeah, they just don't understand things. But this complacency thing is something that I've complained about to my friends and some other people and whatnot, and I just don't think it's because I've seen I can tell. I mean, I go down in you go down to and look at what's going on when you talk to your friends and whatnot, and then you remember what happened in the 70s and whatnot, with the people were pissed off about the war. The youth was pissed off about the war. They got the draft gone. They did just about anything. They pushed a lot of stuff through back then, and those are the same people now that are sitting around, that are my age, and sitting around and going, "Who cares? I'm not going to be here much longer. Who gives a shit? That's going to be my kids' problem." Well, your kids might not know how to go about it, or your kids might be rebellious and they don't care one way or the other. But it's necessary to care. It's necessary to know about this, to take an interest in what's going on in the world, and to if you see something being done that's wrong, you need to respond to it. You're not going to find you wait on other people to do it, and it's like, I've said this before. I'm 80 years old. And I said this now, that there's a lot of guys in Congress and in the Senate that are just too old to be doing this anymore, because they're going up against a lot of young people in other countries. Peoples that are training well, in China, you've got Tsai, and in Korea you got the two leaders over there training their children, if they have them. Trump isn't training his kid in politics. He's training his kid in how to be a thief. So that's just, something that it's just horrible that they do this stuff, and then they come around and they tell you they have the right to tell you what to do, That's my big problem in life. I mean, that was my big problem not staying in the Army or staying in the National Guard. I hated being told what to do all constantly. You know, I like to be able to do a little bit of individual thinking. And there were a couple of instances in combat simulated combat situations where I went the other way and it turned out to be the right way, you know. What can I tell you? Alright, listen up. Wednesday, hump day. Doesn't mean you can get laid. If you're lucky, you'll get laid. Anyhow, it's hump day, and I don't want you to forget to hit the subscribe button. You know? That way you get to be able to get rid of me, fire me, you know, if you don't like what I'm saying or how I'm doing it. And, you know, I don't have any agenda here, you know. I'm just stating facts. Well, I have an agenda. I hate Trump. But I also understand the situation there, that he's not the only one responsible. And removing him, it's, you know, it's be careful what you wish for, because I'm not so sure that Vance won't be a hell of a lot worse. And you'll have him for a good eight years or more, plus if you remove Trump. All right, so listen, hit the subscribe button, comment if you like to. You get notified by when I put videos up, and I only do it I make these videos at about 11 o'clock in the morning. Try to do it before 11 my time, which is 12 your time, and they go up about 12 your time sometimes, you know. I try to anyhow. So when we all get on the same time zone in November, I may not be exhausted, but that's okay. Anyhow, that's it, folks. See you tomorrow.